with me. About 10 years ago, I went through a spontaneous Kundalini release that was actually at the time quite frightening because I didn't have a context for really what was happening to me. And during that particular time, I was introduced to a hierarchy of interdimensional beings. And when they started out with me, they were using, fun and easy terms like, I'm your guide, I'm your angel. So, because at this time, I had no awareness of extraterrestrials, I had no awareness of the multi-dimensional levels where other intelligence exists. So they were obviously kind enough to bring me in easy, and they started out as an angelic presence and a guidance. And I would have these dialogues with them, and sometimes not have dialogues with them. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with beings, very tall, long, with big heads, working on me, surgery style, and I'd be like, can I get up to pee, please? And they'd be like, just a minute, So there was some really interesting, unique arrangements we had where clearly they had a lot of work to do to get me up to speed. So I thank my beloved guardians and my teams because they had to work me quite hard to be able to get me to speak publicly and to be able to bring this information forward. So during this particular time, when I became aware that these beings were extraterrestrial in nature, they described themselves as a council from the constellation of Sirius. And that the Sirian Alliance and the Sirian councils were involved in assisting humanity with moving forward into a higher reality expression, keeping that possibility alive for the human race. And they took me through a series of understanding the various octave systems in our universal structure, some of which I'll be sharing with you in this presentation. And they describe the nature of reality as holographic, that there are levels and layers of intelligence, and that our bodies are the universal synthesizers of the cosmos, that the human being has an incredible potential to be an interdimensional God portal, to literally be able to access within the body, the universe, to be able to access higher levels of intelligence. And they gave me a roadmap in order to become aware of that at a level that my mind as Lisa Renee, again, what we're doing is we're bridging our humanness into our interdimensional, infinite, eternal self. We are becoming multidimensional God beings. And this particular cycle, the Ascension cycle, or the end of what's known as the Mayan timeline or the 2012 timeline, is giving us humanity, the human race, a humongous opportunity in quantum growth in our consciousness. And so this is something that they offer, in which I've agreed to facilitate this body of work. It is just one pathway of many in the prism of God consciousness, and it's offered with the intention of unifying empowerment for human beings and becoming aware of the particular agendas that are underway on this planet, and understanding that we are star in origin. All of us in the human race are basically genetic hybrids. We are carrying various levels of genetic material that include all kinds of unique configurations from all over the universe. And that planet Earth is like a living light library where every piece of genetic material that is represented in our creational universe is actually here on this planet. And this is why our extraterrestrial friends and family are so interested in us, because we hold a piece of their genetic material. And if we take this further, that means that they are us and we are them. They are our elder families, possibly. There's various levels where these life forms and extraterrestrials actually exist and live. Some of them are very benevolent and pro-human evolution, and there are smaller factions that are called the regressives or controllers that are not for human evolution. So the guardian position, the Sirian Council and the guardian races, what they are is a group of interdimensional ultra-terrestrial beings that are here to support the law of one, the understanding that every being has the sovereign right to be free and to be a knower of God consciousness. And it is really bringing that awareness into our sovereignty, our personal power as God beings, and offering a model of which to connect from the inner depths of your own being without an intermediary, without any need to look external, but to understand that the ultimate sustainability is in your core, and that is your God consciousness, and that is your God-given right. And anything within the external world that is asking for your power or asking for your worship is really something that is creating a vampiric or parasitic relationship with us. So we're moving in to a new level of cycle of consciousness where we're coming into the wisdom piece. The last 20 years, from 87 to 2007, the planetary light workers, many of us here that have been involved at the various levels, we've been getting the spoon-fed very little bits of information to get us aware of multi-dimensions, that the invisible is becoming visible, to begin to understand that our thoughts shape our reality, that we need to become more disciplined with our thoughts and our emotions in choosing higher vibrating states, and to ultimately learn to become inner directed rather than externally motivated, so that we become a power of God in action. Because this technology is a consciousness technology of God, and these bodies, the human being, otherwise known to the Guardians as the Christ model, they do talk about that. They say that every human being is in the Christ model. There are many life forms to choose an experience of consciousness, but the humanoid form, from their language, is called a Christ model. This, of course, has nothing to do with organized religion or how this has been construed to really create separation and emotional pain for people that have existed within those religious organizations. What they really want to bring forth for us is an empowerment model to know that we are sovereign and free beings, that we are aspects of God consciousness, and we can activate that consciousness from within us. And so a part of my role is I founded a particular organization called Energetic Synthesis, and it has a website presence, of which I offer a tremendous amount of ascension tools, meditations, and clearings to just be used as a springboard for you to gather your own truth. Because ultimately your truth is your own. God has gifted us, each and every one of us, the pathway to transcendence, and God is uniquely our own. And even though we are all sprung forth from the infinite oneness, and we are equally loved and valued, each one of us has a very specific note to play in the God orchestra. And it is your role to fully play your note, to allow yourself the multidimensional creative potential of your being, free of programming, free of being controlled, and free of being impulsed by forces that most of humanity does not understand at this time. From their position, they feel that there are beings and energies and forces that utilize and exploit certain technologies that create mind control or suppression of human consciousness, and this is exactly why there are beings that are holding the oneness and unity vibration, that are attempting to support as our family, as our co-partners, because they're here to co-partner with us. The extraterrestrial races are not here to save us. We are here to open into this higher awareness of our potentials and to command dominion in this realm. The earth plane and this planet is the dominion of the human being. And yet there are forces that exploit and utilize anti-human or inhumane tactics to create separation, division, warring, lots of things that I'm sure many of you are aware of in terms of what is propagated to keep people externally motivated, externally distracted, rather than coming into the fullness and wholeness of the inner God connection. Your answers, your connection to God is within you. And so I'm just here to remind you of what you already know, but also to confirm And one thing I can only do is share with you the truth of my experience. And that when I share this with you, my desire and intention is to empower you in all ways to be the full and complete creation of what you have come here on this planet during this incredibly auspicious time, during the end of a massive evolutionary cycle where we are standing at the crossroads of a vibrational choice that will change the event horizon and the timeline that humanity will experience going forward forever, for a very long cycle. So we are at an extremely important time in human evolution right now. What we decide to do as a species at this particular time is going to impact future generations and their experience on this particular planet. So as we have an opportunity to choose ascension and higher reality experiences, not only for ourselves, but for generations to come, this clearly has been a part of the heart and conviction of my responsibility to share my truth with you. And of course, as I offer this, please only take what resonates in your heart and discard the rest. This is how this information is presented as an empowerment tool for you. Sometimes it may get a little bit technical, but this is because I'm going to talk about the nature of a reality as a holographic reality. As we understand this reality is holographic and that our body is a holographic tool, we will start to see where there have been suppressions or controls placed in our consciousness, because we'll start to see the architecture and the blueprint of this reality. And that's exactly what this information is designed to do, is to fully understand everything in the unmanifest has a blueprint prior to physicalization into matter. It is this area of our planet that has been controlled and suppressed for quite a long time, and the changing of the guard is here to fully enable and allow ascension and liberation and freedom for all human beings. And this is what the guardian conscious is representing. So thank you. So let's go on. So the energetic synthesis mission statement, just so, again, I think you heard it, but that this information, so that you understand where it's coming from, reflects the guardian perspective of the Ascension timeline. So for them, this 26,556 year precession of the equinox is absolutely a mechanic of creation of what they call an Ascension cycle, and that's currently what we are participating in at this time. So it's intended as support, both energetically and informationally, for the galactic families of humanity. This particular spiritual family has accepted guardianship role to support the foundation of cosmic citizenship. And that's what we're talking about. It's really taking our rightful place into cosmic citizenship through unity consciousness as an evolutionary model for this planet and humanity. So this information from the guardian races is considered an earth-based advocacy designed for this specific group. There's absolutely no value difference given on the role that each being has chosen for its expression. The guardian group's mission is rehabilitation of the hologram, repairing the energetic architecture, again, repairing the blueprint of consciousness here, which is DNA. Embodying the ascended human protoform, supplying the context on what is happening on this planet right now, and the exopolitic agendas, which are the extraterrestrial regressives in particular agendas, by re-educating both human and non-humans